Hello and welcome, all the losers, freaks, and social outcasts, to yet another episode of the E-CEL podcast, your source for all things e-punk and Incelcore. I am your host, Figs, and I thank you for tuning in. Please make sure that you guys are subscribed to us here on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on Spotify, follow us there, and make sure you're following us on Twitter. The E-CEL podcast is now, I've decided we're going to start doing Twitter Spaces every Friday between interviews. So how it'll work is we'll get an interview one week, and then the next week we'll have a Twitter Space on Friday, sort of in the afternoon. So if you guys are on Twitter, make sure that you're following the E-CEL podcast Twitter account. That is where we'll be hosting those Twitter Spaces, and it'll just be sort of casual. Those won't be recorded, so you'll have to get in there to hear what we talk about. They'll just be casual, hangout time that the whole audience can participate in. We'll cover, maybe the weekly drama or something like that. Just chill out, have a good time. We've also moved our clips from this show that can't be shown on YouTube onto Rumble. We've gotten off BitChute, and we are now on Rumble. So please go check those out. We have a link to that in the description below. Also, of course, I got to shout out the E-CEL Discord server. It's the most happening place on the scene. We have a bunch of old heads in there. We got a bunch of great posts in there. Everybody is saying that it is the best server maybe that's ever been, that's ever existed on this scene. So make sure you get in the E-CEL Discord server. Invite link is in the description. Yeah, make sure that you're just following us on all those. And I'm going to just, I normally have like a opening preamble that I go through, but really there's not much to talk about. I think I'm just going to go ahead and get our co-host in here. He really doesn't need any introduction. He was on here for the last interview with Dur. He's put out some great songs recently, especially Just a Guy, which is sort of blown up. And recently, as of last night, he has been shouted out by a huge account on Twitter. This is Little Watermark. Welcome back to the show, Little Watermark.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for having me. Jeez, I think we've been through this whole rigmarole before. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, very recently too, but you're a great co-host, so
Thank you.
I had to have you back. But now, you honestly, I mean, we are kind of like cut of the same cloth, when it comes to type of person. I'm setting up the podcast, you're setting up Steakfest. We're both.
I guess so. I guess there's some similarities.
Yeah, we're both like aspiring businessmen.
True, very true.
Yeah, but as I said in your introduction, it was just last night. This is recorded on September 7th, by the way, for the audience. But just last night, there was this huge account on Twitter, some like 20,000 follower E-Girl, actually. She is a VTuber streamer, and she was reposting a bunch of your music. Is that correct?
Well, I wouldn't use the word is because it's now more like was. Yeah, let's just say the spark was quick and it was gone quickly. It was gone quicker than it appeared. I don't know whose idea it was to invite the 20,000 follower VTuber E-Girl into the E-CEL server and permit the entire server to proceed to dogpile and bully this poor female out of the scene. It's totally fine. I have no regrets. Okay.
Hey, you can't introduce a woman into a bunch of incels. I mean, they're like rabid dogs.
Yeah,
they smell blood in the water.
It wasn't me. All right, it wasn't my idea. I have no clue. I don't know how that happened or why that happened or what the deal was. But yeah, it was crazy. It was like ridiculous. I was like jumping up and down in my room. I wasn't, but let's pretend I was. I got all these Twitter notifications. I was like, holy cow, I was seeing dollar signs in my eyes, and then all of a sudden, just like that, snap of the fingers, it's gone. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it sucks. I mean, not to dogpile my loyal incels and E-CEL Discord server, but I mean, I was definitely a part of that. I joined the voice chat where there's like 20 dudes in there, yourself included, who was talking to this girl, and I was totally unaware of what was going on. I mean, I was totally out of the loop with, failure of my job. And then I gave her the void roll, which kicks her from VC, and she leaves and reposts all your stuff, I guess. So I guess I'm a little bit to blame too, but yeah, it's not the first time I think an Incelcore artist has fumbled the bag.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess so. And listen, she loves Just a Guy. All right, her Twitter bio has not changed. You know, she's always going to be a fan. So
nice.
At the end of the day, you know, I win. I win.
Yeah, true. And I know you were trying to reach out to her in DMs to like apologize. Did that ever happen?
No, unfortunately. She's totally cut off from the world. I'm still on her Twitter list saying I'm gang stalking you though. So yeah, kind of weird, but it's cool. Yeah. It's totally cool.
Well, all right. So hopefully, you know, maybe something will come of that in the future, but oh well.
Yeah, we'll see.
Another big piece of news, and we've talked about it on the Twitter space that we just had. You were involved with a little bit of drama with the announcement of Steakfest. You came out with the poster for Steakfest, and we already talked about it in the Twitter space that we just did on Friday. But Fried by Fluoride responded to it negatively. He quote tweeted it saying, you know, I wish everybody the worst here. And he's even accused of creating an alt on Reddit specifically to drag the announcement and to say, you know, it's stupid. Some of the people on this show have never met Steak Fry in real life, and just generally trashing the show. And unfortunately, it did get some upvotes on Reddit. And obviously his retweet of it got likes. So some people clearly agree with him on some aspects of these. Do you want to respond to this at all?
Well, my whole perspective of it is, it doesn't really bother me. I don't really care. You know, it's like, what is it? E-drama about a real life event. It's a memorial show. I don't know about like the whole like people who don't have a connection to Steak Fry like being at the show. I mean, I met the guy. Hallowed has met the guy. You know, Hallowed actually, I don't know if this is public information or not, or if I'm leaking too much by saying this, but Hallowed actually paid out of pocket to fly Steak Fry out to New York to play the show that he did in New York in 2022. So I find it frankly a little ridiculous that, you know, it's like there's this accusation and it's like, oh, it's like just using Steak Fry's name to pull a crowd. No, the poster is like the lineup is what is bringing the crowd. It's not really. It's just that the name of Steak Fry is kind of an excuse for everyone to get together and actually honor something greater than ourselves for once. And you know, what better way to honor the guy in our music scene by playing a good show to kind of you know, keep his memory alive. And I do have plans to kind of maybe put some proceeds towards his family and kind of make sure that his music stays up on streaming services so everyone can continue to, you know, enjoy the art that Steak Fry made while he was alive. And another thing I would like to touch on is really doesn't bother me that like Fried is like dragging the event publicly because like he reposted it, he talked about it. That's more than I really could have asked him to. You know, if he really didn't like the event, he really didn't want it to succeed, he probably would have said nothing. And he didn't end up saying nothing. He said something. He quote tweeted it, which means everyone who looks at Fried's feed saw the poster. So, you know, maybe there will be some people going because he brought some attention to it. So thank you, Fried, for bringing attention to our event. And I really do appreciate it. Seriously, like, this helps us out kind of a lot. A little bit of E-drama kind of makes it a little special, a little spicy, you know. People want to come out to it. So I mean, you know, there's not much else I can really say.
I mean, we love E-drama. Many have called this the E-drama podcast. So obviously it's what keeps us going. But no, I'm kidding. Obviously, I hate E-drama, but no, it's you know, a little spice of life to the event. You know, it's going to make it interesting. Going to add some different aspects for when it goes on. You know, but I'm going to it, and I know plenty of other people who are going to it, and it seems a lot of people are saying they're estimating like over 100 are going to show up to this thing. There's like carpools that are scheduled to go here, and they're all full or near full. It's going to be a big event. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm glad that you're putting it on.
Thank you, OFigs, and I hope everyone comes out. I haven't posted the address yet because, well, for one reason, I don't want the wrong people to get a hold of the address and kind of shut the show down preemptively. And two, we may be changing the address to a somewhat larger space that maybe could hold a bit more people because, According to I keep trying and I'm trying to stay humble with this. I keep trying to think like, oh, maybe there's just gonna be like 50 people or like 30 people or whatever. But like, just with the bands, like the bands and their parties and everything, with like the inner circle of people that are coming that are kind of associated with the people organizing and playing the event, it's already at like 25 people.
Nice. Sweet.
So just with people playing, and I've heard about the carpools, a couple carpools being orchestrated, like 7 to 6 people per carpool, multiple carpools. So that brings the number up to like 50 people. Yeah. And then there's the people who like will just show up on their own accord and their respective friends and groups that they're going to be going with. And I don't see this hitting any less than like 80 people at like the minimum.
Nice.
Like I really do think this is going to be a huge event, and I want to make it as maybe not professional. Professional is the wrong word to use because I don't think we could ever be professional, but I think it's certainly possible that this could be a somewhat more sophisticated event, especially since it's a memorial show, and yeah. I don't want a memorial show to be a shit show. So
exactly. All right. Well, sweet. Yeah. Good to hear, man. We're all looking forward to it for sure.
Thank you.
Moving on to just another piece of news. This is really like a nothing, but I thought it was interesting. Since Up to the Wolves was banned, during his time, there was this other guy called Soma TV, Watermark. Do you know about him? He was like another Incelcore music video maker.
Yes, I have heard of his stuff, and I was kind of a fan back in the day before I started making music of his stuff. I really liked his music videos, and he was active while Up to the Wolves was active, as far as I know.
Yes, yeah, he was. I think most of his big videos were released actually while Up to the Wolves was here. And I think even Durr brought up this comparison where like everybody saw Up to the Wolves as like MTV. Soma was like, he was still cool, but he was like obviously like lesser, not as high quality, but still good stuff.
Right.
Well, Soma, he went inactive really a similar time as Up to the Wolves left. And he since a few months ago made some more music videos, but not all of them were for Incelcore songs. Just the other day, announced on his community tab, after being inactive for a while, that he's starting a second channel that is dedicated to, quote, redpilling the unwashed masses, which is very strange return to the scene if I've ever seen one. But
there you have it. There you have it. I will say, Soma occasionally would talk in like ICV, ICG, just to talk about like crypto for like maybe like a couple messages, and then he would go on another like couple month long hiatus. So this really is no surprise to me, but there you have it. I mean, good to see that he's dedicating himself to a good cause, and I hope it turns out well for him.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so too. It's just it's too bad. We're talking about like for the past couple interviews, man, we really need like a new Up to the Wolves. Soma is like in the perfect position to fill those shoes. I mean, he's got 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and then he goes and does this. It's like, come on, kind of fumbling. We talk about fumbling the bag. This is kind of like the same vein as that, but
I mean, hey, whatever the heart wants,
Yeah, if he's dedicated to it and that's just what he wants to do, that's what he wants to do. So we're gonna wish him all the best.
That's true. Very true.
The last thing I wanted to cover is that there's another live show going on before Steakfest, but it's going to be in October. It's going to be on the 26th in Lynchburg, Virginia. It's going to be Halloween themed. Costumes are required. It's going to feature some well-known names on the live scene, like Doc Chubkus, Czar, and Bizarian. And then there's also going to be 3 other bands that I haven't heard of that are called Black Market Surgeons, Communist Lies, and Dandy Walker. I'm sure you can message any of the guys that I've just mentioned on Twitter for more information about it. But that's going to be another live show that's happening. I was asked to promote it, and so I'm going to gladly do so. And with this, just with the announcement of this other show that's going on, Watermark, I wanted to know, have you ever worried that you might run into maybe some tension with the other live scene guys, maybe stealing the spotlight with Steakfest?
I'm not entirely sure because, well, do you mean kind of trying to turn it into their own show or what?
Not necessarily. I mean, that could definitely be an issue since maybe they see themselves as like quote unquote owning the live scene. I'm not saying they do. I'm just saying maybe that'll be something that comes up. Or maybe they'll, maybe try to turn it into their own thing. I don't know. Do you worry about that?
Not inherently, no, because I know that the audiences for the live scene, the audience for like, the greater Incelcore kind of what's the word, like community is like, I mean, it's very different. The people who come to the live shows, it really is like kind of like the same 100 people that kind of go out to all of them. So, and any really big, huge live show that happens, at the very least right now, it's for the most part because it's at a local place and there's like local bands there and it brings out a bunch of local people. So I'm not entirely worried about any of that. And I don't think that like any of the live scene people are like, quote, like a threat to any of this. And I think the Halloween show is gonna go well. It was actually started, the discussion for it started in the Steakfest group chat. So it's kind of just like about like a thing to go to before that. And I guess some people wanted to throw in another show or something, and it's for, so I really hope it goes very well for them, and I wish them well, and I hope it's awesome. And local bands always bring a crowd, so I know it will go well. And I know the last Virginia show did very well because we had a local band or two on the card. So I don't think to go back to what you said, I don't think the live scene is posing any threat with any of this stuff, and I really don't think that they're like that they have the capability to be malicious or anything like that in that sense.
Okay, sweet. I just know that you're trying to like bridge the gap here, and there's been some continuous tension between the live scene and the online scene for a long time. So,
well, you're not going to get anywhere. We're not going to get anywhere if we all just stay comfortable and we all stay within our respective circles and we don't actually ever step out of our comfort zone to see actually what the other side is like. To speak on the live scene, these people have gotten comfortable with playing kind of smaller shows with their smaller circles and kind of just having fun. And the online scene has gotten very comfortable with kind of just like sitting on streaming revenue and kind of just like releasing a single every month and a half and not actually getting out there and doing anything. And as kind of a guy who's been involved in both, I've kind of grinded out in the live scene, I've grinded out in the online scene. I've seen both of it. I have complaints about both of them. I think it's needed, I think it's needed for us to go anywhere that, these people need to get together and they need to play a show together and they need to realize that either that their differences are irreconcilable or that their differences are negligible,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, good. I think it'll be a great a moment. Not to focus too much on Steakfest for the whole news segment, but I mean, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be cool. I think all sides are going to find something enjoyable with Steakfest. So we're looking forward to it.
I agree. I do agree.
But anyways, that's all the news out of the way that I wanted to cover. We're going to go ahead and get the man of the hour in here, DeepBlu. Let's go ahead and get him introduced. I am glad to welcome onto the show an old head of the scene who's been around for a long time. He featured on 2 of the PsychWard comp albums, was one of the contributors to the infamous Redpilled Rockstars band, and has just recently made a return to SoundCloud after an almost year-long hiatus with his new songs Separation Sickness and Until Next Time. Let's give it up for DeepBlu. Good to have you here, man.
Thanks. It's cool to be on. This is my second podcast, second one that Lil Watermark was on as well.
Really? So you're talking about the Underground's Anonymous podcast that you were on?
I was literally just about to say, I forgot what they were called, but you...
Oh, yeah.
I could have swore it was not Underground Anonymous. I think it was like that other one that sucked even worse.
Yeah, the one that sucked even worse. We were on the one you go on when Underground Anonymous doesn't want you to come on. It's a miracle that such a thing exists, but we were on it.
And do you want to give a review of that?
Fucking hell. Basically, they got us on. It was like horribly prepared. The co-host's mic was worse than mine. And at the end, they'd been doing these things with all the like, you know, the B leagues of like e-punk internet music people, where in the end they'd have like the co-host play his violin like into the microphone.
What?
And they would like whoever was on would sing along with it. So it was Lil Watermark singing like "Tonight's Gonna Be a good night," like out of time because of the latency in the voice chat. It was like him playing violin and then Lil Watermark singing "Tonight's Gonna Be a good night." And I think that video is like on their SoundCloud.
No way.
Whatever the podcast's called, the less popular e-punk podcast.
Yeah, hey, what's up? Can we cut this?
Yeah, no, this is going to be clipped, and it's going to be an E-CEL as soon as we're done recording this. Are you kidding me? I'm going to fucking find that. It's going to be everywhere. Okay, I'm ready.
Feeling... tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Feeling. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Tonight's gonna be a good night. Feeling.
If you want to hear the whole thing, we're putting that on the E-CEL Rumble channel, so please check that out.
It's a real banger to hear, you know, a guy poorly play "Tonight's Gonna Be a Good Night" on his violin, and then, you know, like 5 seconds later, the Low Watermark's vocals start. So it's like,
wow, that's the best thing ever, dude.
Yeah, that was like a staple on their podcast. So there's a bunch of these where it's like, I think they had like Maniac on as well. So it's, you know, a guy playing violin.
Well, dude, you look at those podcasts. I forget what the second one was called. I swear it had something to do with like a graveyard, something I can't remember. But those ones were so poorly produced. It was just insane. And yet, Underground's Anonymous managed to interview Turkey Tom. Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, the Turkey Tom interview has like 500 views too.
Yeah, and they also interviewed Jez Gabergably. Like, what the hell is going on? It's so shit. It's so ass. But they have like 4,000 views simply because it's Jez.
You've gone from like a popular YouTuber to Jezebel Gabergably as if they're like in the same vein.
Well, you know, relative to the scene, they're both pretty big.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Turkey Tom is such a fucking... He's just such a fucking dork, you know? It's like making a video about Virgin Fest where you're like, these guys are all such wholesome, awesome guys. It's a shame Antifa came along and ruined it. Like 90% of those people went on to like groom a child or be involved in like some weird sex thing. It's like if Antifa should have sent more people. They should have sent like the guys with the bike locks that try to like bash your head in. They would have saved. You know, if one of them had come along and like decapitated Ziril with a machete, it would have saved a lot of young girls a lot of grief.
Goodness, dude.
Yeah.
Very true.
Man, yeah. Some of it's self-inflicted.
Should have sent the Antifa super soldiers, you know?
Well, I was just continuing to speak of these old podcasts. You've said that you've watched the other ones, and I was wondering if you watched Watermark's interview on E-CEL here that he's had, where he actually credited you for being the one to get him started in Incelcore.
I mean, there's no greater honor, really, than to hear that. But there's no greater privilege. But I listened to... I did skim through the Watermark one because it was quite funny. The funniest part of that was when he was talking about, like, the Redpilled Rockstar recording, when basically we had the main song on it, like, just called... The main song on Redpilled Rockstars that we were all on.
I think it was Fuck E-Punk, yeah, right?
Yeah, Fuck E-Punk, that's the one. Basically, the only thing that Durr had to do was come on and send us an MP3 of him saying, "Yeah, let's go." And it took him 2 months to do that. Like that bullshit fucking EP would have come out literally like 2 to 3 months earlier if Durr had emailed me an MP3 file.
Wow, that's incredible.
And the guy fucking records music. I know you can fucking record an MP3 file and send it in a timely manner, but he's like, what the fuck was he doing that entire time? It took him that long.
Yeah, we actually covered that on Durr's interview as well. and I think he just said that he was lazy. He was just super lazy.
I was expecting him to be like, oh, I'm actually like a long haul trucker in real life, and no, literally, it's just fucking with all the equipment that it requires to record music in your room. He was still unable to record an MP3 file.
Yeah, and speaking of Dur, though, did you watch his interview?
No, I've only seen the bits of the little Watermark one where I'm mentioned.
Oh,
that's
okay. humble.
Yeah.
I was gonna say on Dur's interview, maybe you want to go back and watch it. At the end, the Watermark co-hosted that one as well, and they both talked about possibly restarting Redpilled Rockstars. Is there any interest on your part in being part of that again?
You know, I like the idea of making music with Dur and Lil Watermark, because they make good music, like blurred out license plate, and Dur's got like loads of good music. But at the same time, it's like I don't know if I'm a true like Redpilled guy anymore. I'm very like, I kind of have to like go to work now and shit, and you can't really balance like being a dedicated Redpilled guy with like a job or anything like that. So it's like I'd do it because like I like the music, but I'm not very up to date on like news. And the last one, I think there was a song on it called Booster Shot Ball Expansion, which is about getting the vaccine and then your balls swell and explode. And the thing is, that's very topical, and I don't have the topical knowledge. So I think Lil Watermark and Dur are gonna have to take over with the the poetic lyricism of Redpilled Rockstars.
This is your time to convince him, Watermark. You got anything to say?
What do I have to say? Well, all I have to say is the first EP was like probably like the thing that I've put like the least possible amount of effort into, and I'd say I was probably like top 3 people who put effort into that thing. So I don't really think it was I don't really think it's going to be too laborious. I really do think you're just lazy.
No, yeah, you were top 3 of the 4 of us that were in it. Yeah.
Okay, well, it's pretty hard to be. It's pretty hard to be beaten out by Dur,
Yeah. To be fair, on one of the songs, the entire instrumental is just like we released that as if it was like, yeah, we made all these songs, but the only one that Dur actually did was an instrumental that he gave me, and I did vocals over the instrumental, and it's like he just had that sitting on his computer, and he's like, yeah, you can have it for this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you can use it.
Well, I mean, I would strongly suggest you to maybe reconsider, because the Redpilled Rockstar stuff was great, and as Dur pointed out, it was like, whether people liked it or not, it was the biggest like super group from the scene to ever exist. Like, it's funny that it was, but it was, so it'd be cool to see it make a comeback.
You're such a new fag, man. Fucking Dropout Boys is the original. That was like it was 13th century fucking lard ass. It was fried by fluoride. It was neat. I think Cross Socks was in there too. And they literally edged the entire like community for months, being like, we're gonna release this like Dropout Boys album. It's gonna be great. And then like all of the entire thing fell through. Cowboy like fell through his chair, got doxxed, and then like deleted all of his shit. It's like that was like Dropout Boys, but that was the big one. Like no one fucking gives a shit about fucking Redpilled Rockstars. Dropout Boys, that was gonna be that was the power team. That was the Avengers of Incelcore.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing, is that one never came out, whereas Redpilled Rockstars did, and it produced stuff, so that's the difference.
Yeah, that's the only way that our group beats theirs, that ours exists.
Well, also theirs wasn't. I thought Dropout Boys was supposed to be a comp album, not a band.
I guess if you're going by the classification of like what's a band, or like band versus comp album, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
so, to be honest, I think it would be Pol Pot's Playhouse when
Oh shit, I did forget about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that, but like Jezebel, before she overpowered Birdbath and had her way with him as a 16-year-old girl, before that happened, they got together and recorded, they did a cover of California Dreamin'. They did some good songs. Like the album, it's very short, but it's really good. They were, and I think at the time, or probably still, they're like bigger than all of us. So they're like the biggest band. But if anyone remembers Redpilled Rockstars, I'll happily help do another one. Yeah.
Well, epic, dude. Yeah, I'm telling you, I think you should for sure.
Yeah, I'll do another Redpilled Rockstars if the demand's there, if the market's really calling for it.
All right. Well, sweet. Yeah. Well, we'll hopefully look forward to that then.
You'll be the only person.
Yeah, you'll have one view and it'll be Ofigs.
Yeah.
Speaking of projects that you were involved with, you had been on PsychWard 2 and 3. But the thing is, between those, you're credited under a different name. You used to be called Saxonman. On PsychWard 2, you're listed as Saxonman, and on PsychWard 3, you're listed as DeepBlu. What was the reason for your name change?
I just figured it was a bit gay, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing I did it was that because I was like in a history phase where I was like watching, like just consuming a shit ton of history media, and they were like my favorite group at the time. But eventually, I was like, weren't the Saxons like German and like, you know, brown hair guys? I'm blonde. I'm probably more descended from those guys who like came down and fucked a bunch of defenseless monks and stole all their shit. You know, the Scandinavian people. So I'm like, the name's gay. I'm not even probably genetically at all Saxon. I'm just gonna change it.
Okay. So that was the only reason?
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering because also on Spotify, the name Saxonman is still up there. And that name features on a British rap project called L8 Official, which is still on Spotify. Are you still a part of that?
What's that?
This British rap project called L8 Official. Is that you? Like, are you part of that?
No, I'm not.
Are you sure?
No. Last time I checked, no.
I'm just wondering because
I've never been involved in a rap group, so that's probably gonna have to be a no. It's notably not one called LA Official. What year is it from?
It's from 2021. If you go on Spotify and you look up PsychWard Volume 2, and you go to your song on there and you click Saxon, it shows also features on. And on that also features on, there's a British rap project. I was wondering if that involves you.
You know what that is? That fucking Tajikistan retard Kumjar, who's the guy who compiles the guy who put together PsychWard.
Yeah.
He put the name down as just Saxon. So then there was a bunch of mix-up with the distribution people because, you know, his greasy, lazy fingers couldn't put the letters M-A-N on the end. So now I get to be mixed up with whatever the fuck LA Official is.
Oh, okay.
So thanks, Kumjar.
Speaking of Kumjar, what is your opinion on Kumjar allegedly stealing all of the streaming revenue from PsychWard?
Oh, what? So he owes me £6? Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, that guy. Fuck, that could have bought me a house.
Well, I think the people that are most pissed off about it at all are like Heartbreaker, who has like the biggest song on there, and also this guy Red 25. He's got some big songs on the PsychWard albums. But do you know about that? Like the whole drama, if you're not aware, and for the audience, is that Kumjar started the PsychWard albums. He released all of them. And then when it came time to pay out to all the guys who featured, he just took the money and ran.
You know something funny? I didn't even know there was like supposed to ever be a payout.
Oh, really?
I was just like, this is going to be so shit. Does anyone expect this to make money? Like, why are we going to Kumjar like he owes us millions?
So you don't know anything about this?
No, I don't. If you looked at my DistroKid and you looked at the revenue, you'd know like he could steal all of the money that I make from Spotify. And it would not matter at all. It would be like, yeah, I could get my entire Spotify earnings for the year, or I could do like a 4-hour shift at minimum wage, whichever I want to do is fine. It's like, to be honest, with Heartbreaker, that fucker is always like in a chat somewhere bragging about how much music he makes and how many plays he gets. It should only be a drop in the water for that guy. He must be balling with the amount that he goes on about it. He must be fucking loaded by now.
I mean, clearly you don't have a positive opinion of Cum Jar. So you really had no idea about this, like being like the main reason, like he left the scene and disappeared?
No, I don't mind. Cum Jar, he was funny. He was a decent enough guy, to be honest. He probably just doesn't even think. He's probably like literally at work now, so putting the fries in the bag, and he doesn't even remember that PsychWard exists. I really doubt he's like rolling in. I doubt that he's like diving into a big Scrooge McDuck pile of money with the PsychWard earnings. I seriously doubt that he has a significantly better standard of living than the rest of the PsychWard musicians.
Well, just to be fair, I have heard it estimated that the money he's made off of PsychWard is somewhere around $2,000 with all the albums.
Yeah, and he probably spent it all, like, every single time a tenor came in, he probably spent it all on, like, fucking cigarettes and, I don't know if he saved this money.
Yeah, I mean, it is probably all gone, you're right.
Yeah.
Just,
the money's gone. The money's just let it go. Unless your song, look, if your song made, like, unless it magically blew up, if it blows up and gets millions of plays all of a sudden, then maybe go to your distributor and see if you can get the song claimed, and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I don't think anyone's like on a manhunt for Cum Jar. He was like, he was a decently funny guy. He would take the piss out of me for just being English, which was funny enough. But then, like, at the same time, he's from a place called Tajikistan. It's like, where the fuck is Tajikistan?
Oh.
And he lived in California as well, so it's not even like he was like representing this place.
Wow.
If you're gonna come after me for being from like arguably the worst country in the world, at least be from a country that people know about,
Watermark, you said that you have a very different opinion of Cum Jar, apparently.
I mean, I don't know if I really hate the guy, but I mean, I think the guy was like very funny. The guy was like unironically tone deaf. Like his music is probably the worst I've ever heard. Like genuinely, seriously, I think Ovigs. I mean, you're the I Love Incelcore guy, so I imagine you've heard it, and you could probably attest to this, that it's simply unlistenable. I mean, I don't know, sometimes I hear like these new artists and I listen to their music and I'm like, geez, do you think that guy like listened to that through before he posted it on the internet? And I like to imagine like Cum Jar like listening to his own music and bobbing his head while like listening to like probably arguably the worst thing I've ever heard. And he's posting it and he's thinking, oh yeah, this one's gonna be good. I don't really hate the guy. I don't really have anything against the guy. I just think he was massively pretentious for being probably the arguably like the least musically inclined person I've ever met.
Oh my god, yeah, he would go on and on about mixing, and then he'd release something and it was like based gamer level music. It was shit. He would go on and on like, do you think the mixing on the snare drum sounds good enough in this track? And it's like the worst shit you've ever heard, regardless of how the snare drum sounds. It was terrible. I can't name one of the songs, but it's like, I think the most advanced instrument in Tajikistan was like 2 cow bones that you bang together. So he's a bit out of his depth anyway. But like,
suppose you're right.
I couldn't tell you when he left the scene. But when you talk to him, he was just like he was a nice enough guy. I don't imagine that was actively plotting, I'm going to steal everyone's PsychWard money.
Okay, gotcha. All right. Interesting then to hear your take on that. But I wanted to then quickly, on PsychWard, we're talking about PsychWard, you have a song on PsychWard too that's literally called Fuck PsychWard, and it features Watermark here.
Yeah, I do.
Obviously, it's like not super serious because, I mean, Cum Jar commented on it and he put it on the Spotify playlist. What's the idea behind that song exactly? Would you guys care to share?
I think it was just like, I think I got in like a minor argument with him about something like completely trivial, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, Watermark. Do you want to do a song where we just talk shit about PsychWard? And he was like, yeah, we'll do that.
And I will say that the track is aged like a fine milk. Like we had Playboy So Sad featured on that song. And that guy, I'm like 90% sure that guy just does heroin in Ohio now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he died to gun violence like 2 years ago. So.
Holy shit!
Nice.
I hope you're not serious when you say that. That would be really bad that I'm laughing at him right now.
He lived in this absolute shithole. Once we saw him, like we went on VC with him, and he turned his camera on, and he was in the process of like horribly overcooking a steak, and then he ate it like it was a 3-star, Michelin star meal. He was like, he lived in such a poor part, and he DM'd me like, dude, I'm gonna start going back to school, as if it was like an adult going to university. It was like he was 14 and he was just like going to school as he should have been. It's like, wow. I'm gonna turn my life around. It's like, mate, you've not even finished high school. It's over for you.
Like, I remember, if you guys follow Lil Mar at all, that black dude who would fuck homeless people and like abandon them on the side of the street, and he would and he's the guy who fucked the McChicken. He made a video where he's like a trucker, and he's making this like slop food, and it's like ramen noodles with like mustard and like hot sauce in it, and he cuts up like a Walmart sausage and puts it in there, and it's like the whole video is him like pretending it's like gourmet. Like that's how like VC with Playboy would be like. See, I was wrapping it around to something related to the scene, but it would be like Playboy, like he'd be in VC and he'd like make this like horrific, terrible slop meal, and he'd eat, and he'd be like, man, this is what y'all should be eating. This is what y'all need to be eating like me, man. Like it was like the most like complete like
dude
like Section 8 babble I've ever heard. And he'd be like eating like overcooked hamburger helper or like a sirloin steak that he bought from like Walgreens, and he just like murdered it like on the stove and is like acting like
nice.
It's like the greatest thing since sliced bread. So yeah, that guy was a clown. That guy was a really clown.
I remember that. Yeah.
Oh man.
Though to be honest, like the thing with talking to Playboy Still Sad is like really nice guy, but you'd VC with him and you'd laugh at like the ridiculous like just complete trash stuff that he would do, and then you'd come off VC and you're like, oh, that's a poor child there. That's not a lolcow. That's a kid who's like below the poverty line in like a US city, and you're like, it's not actually that funny in hindsight.
Well, it made for an interesting song for sure.
I hope he's doing better now. Yeah, because he would send me DMs. Obviously into the kind of the DGen life, but he would send me DMs and he'd be like talking about his sexual exploits, and I'd be like, you were 14, I don't want to hear this. I like not being in prison.
Wow.
He would tell me this like just smut, and I'd be like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
Nice. Well, yeah, like Watermark said, that song probably is not reaching anybody's favorites list on the PsychWard albums. But
I mean, well, I don't know what on the PsychWard albums is reaching anyone's favorite list. I mean, if I'm being honest, there's a reason the Dark Ages started in 2021.
I mean, to be fair, I mean, I like the PsychWard albums. I mean, they're not like awesome.
They're like, well, yeah. I think they're not like awesome. It's like probably about like the most telling thing about them. They're just not really all that awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's there's not really much else to say about it.
Well, I'd like to know, DeepBlu, how did you get involved with the PsychWard albums? Did Cumjar just reach out and say, hey, I like your stuff, do you want to come on, or what?
Yeah, well, they didn't. Dropout Boys said no, so I had to do something. Yeah, MSG, they said no. Everyone else said no. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. DeepBlu's going to PsychWard. You can all fucking suck a dick. And then, no one cared, obviously. So I went on PsychWard.
Wait, are you serious with that? I can't tell if you're joking or not. Did you try to get on MSG and Dropout Boys?
No, I'm just kidding. But it was objectively like the shittest comp album that you could be on at the time.
I mean, yeah, I do agree with you.
I'll give you some context. A little Watermark. I'd started and I'd got a decent amount of followers. I was getting like 200 listens a day. And Lil Watermark, I DM'd him because I liked his rap song Bro Moment. I thought it was hilarious. So I was already in the process of talking to Cumjar. So I was like very slightly established, and he was like, "Yeah, you want to be on?" Then he found Watermark, and he listened to Bro Moment as well, and he was like, "Yeah, Watermark, do you want to be on as well?" He just started.
He asked me to be on PsychWard after he heard Boyfriend,
yeah,
and he told me he was like really obsessed with like Boyfriend, and he was like, this is like genuinely an amazing song. I can't believe it. And not exactly the highest praise that you could possibly get. Possibly like the most tone deaf dude in the scene, like saying like, "Oh, dude, your music's great." I mean, thankfully I've improved since then. I would say I'd rather like I would prefer to undergo like the most Guantanamo Bay-esque cock and ball torture than listen to Boyfriend through 5 times. So I'd say my music is at the very least listenable now, but yeah, that the humble beginnings, very humble beginnings. And I remember like when I was asked to be on the PsychWard like thing, like I was such a fan of Incelcore that I was like freaking out. Like I was like actually kind of crazy. Like I was kind of stoked about it, which is a very embarrassing thing to admit live on the air, but it really was like the shittest comp that you could possibly be on. Like I was thinking to myself, like I was kind of thinking to myself, like as a fan of Incelcore, like I was like, this is like MFMT, but like worse.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah, it was okay, I guess.
See, but, you went from it wasn't exactly awesome to it's okay, I guess.
I mean, it's okay is not exactly awesome, That's what I'm saying.
I guess so.
But it's interesting that DeepBlu mentioned this rap song, Bro Moment. That's not on your discography, Watermark. What is he referring to?
Yeah, because when I was in middle school, I used to make really bad SoundCloud rap because like, I thought it was funny.
Well, I was gonna say, luckily, it seems like it's okay because it seems that you and Saxonman, aka DeepBlu, did a remix of it, which is on SoundCloud, thankfully, under a re-upload archive channel.
Yes, it is. It actually is. It is pretty It's cool that survives, and everyone can go check that out and see how much of a baller freaking band stacking, op killing freaking gangster I was back in the day. But like, if I'm being honest, like the main reason I'm even associated with Incelcore at all is because DeepBlu, then Saxonman, found the rap music I made in middle school and thought it was funny and sent me an invite to ICG as a joke. And I joined, and I was kind of bullied by the scene for like maybe like a month. But then, things come into their own. You make Boyfriend, you make a couple friends, and now look where we are, Look where we are.
You've made it.
I really have. I have totally made it.
True.
The underage girls are rolling in. The streaming revenue. Well, we're still waiting on that one.
I've got a kitten for Discord kitten for each day of the week. It couldn't really be any better.
Exactly.
It really couldn't.
It's great being an Incelcore rock star, But to loop back then to you, DeepBlu. After you changed your name from Saxonman to DeepBlu, I was just wanting to ask really quick. You have used AI art for your album covers and then also for your profile picture on SoundCloud.
How the fuck did you just help me like that?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's kind of obvious, isn't it?
I'm just saying, the name DeepBlu, is that at all a reference to there's like the first supercomputer to beat a chess champion was called DeepBlu, and then you use all this AI stuff. It seems like, is that what it's referencing?
No.
No?
No.
How'd you get the name DeepBlu?
I was just in the gym and I thought of it.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. That's not a good fucking story for everything, right?
I suppose not.
I just wanted something more generic. So
okay, gotcha. Well, I was wondering, you've used this AI art. What is your opinion then on Incelcore artists using AI for like their cover art? Like Fried, he had used AI art for his song "Bet the Farm" on it. His album, The Great Spirit, and then it was also going to be the album cover for Farmyard, the unreleased comp album. That was going to be AI art as well.
Yeah.
What's your opinion on using it?
Well, first of all, Great Spirit, absolute banger. Like, for that, let him have all the 14-year-old girls he wants, honestly. But aside from that, to be honest, I used to have a guy. I forget what he was called now. It was like it was Malignant. I think he made music at the time, but I would PayPal him £5, and he would he would draw stuff for me, like the art for Kill to Death. He did that for me. But he disappeared, so I just started using AI.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
And I didn't have the willpower nor the financial resources to pay anyone else.
Okay, for sure.
Yeah, he was a nice dude though, because I didn't even have to pay him. But it was like he was doing good work for me, so it was like, yeah, I'll give him some money.
Malignant was that guy who would show his guns off on stream and wore a dress that one time, right?
I don't remember that part in particular, but being like a man who's likes art and drawing, you kind of have to be.
There's a picture of him. There's a picture of him circulating around. I at least I remember that where like he had like a dress on, and he was like, he had like this running joke that he was gay or something like that, and he would like wear a dress all the time or something like that. I don't know.
You call it.
I don't want to rain on the parade of the guy that drew your art or whatever, but.
Some say it was a running joke, but for me, it was like sometimes I couldn't afford the £5, so you do what you got to do.
That's true. That's true.
Well, moving on then, I guess, back onto your music, DeepBlu. On your Bandcamp page, you call yourself a one-hit wonder, but the thing is, like, on SoundCloud at least, you have a lot of popular songs, or at least, songs that would be considered popular for this scene. What is it that you considered to be your one hit when you wrote that?
Basically, when I was 15, that's when I made White Boy Summer, the first song where it was like, oh, I'm getting plays now. Because Up to the Wolves made a music video for that. So, 13th century cowboy, bless his cholesterol infused heart, he pings me in the message in the new music channel saying that I'd got this music video. So I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. That was the most like notoriety I'd ever achieved. So I immediately accepted at that point, right, it's never going to get any better than this. Let's just ride as long as we can. So I was like, I've peaked. I'm 15, I've peaked. It's all downhill from here. So I put it on Bandcamp and I called it a day.
Okay, nice. Well, speaking of that video that Up to the Wolves had made for you, did he ever end up making more for you, more music videos for your stuff?
Yeah, so he went on a big hiatus. He disappeared for ages. Everyone thought he'd died or something. But then he came back and he made a video for a song that I deleted since because I thought it was shit. But a song called Back Where I Started, and the source footage for it was like some old, I think it was like a Polish TV show or a movie. And that was the first one he made after he got back from that long hiatus. So that was like, I was really full of myself. I was like, fuck yeah, I got another video and it's for a song that's not even out. And I've been so fucking lazy lately. And what I need to do is I need to go on YouTube to mp3.com and re-upload that song. Because it was I guess it must have been decent enough, So,
yeah, totally.
Yeah, he made one more. And then he disappeared. I'm not entirely sure on why Up to the Wolves is gone, but he's gone, so it's over.
Well, he was actually copyright claimed by Shooter.
Is that actually what happened?
Yes.
That is gay as fuck.
Yeah, he talks about it on he made a second channel called UTTW2.
Yeah.
Where he re-uploaded all of his songs that were, his channel was struck because what had happened, and he explained this in a comment.
Yeah.
School Shooter, aka Negative XP, copyright struck all of his music videos that featured his songs at the same time, which then led to Up to the Wolves getting his channel deleted because it just all happened at once. He didn't have any time to appeal or do anything about it. And so then that caused Up to the Wolves to just sort of give up. So he re-uploaded to UTTW2 and then left forever. And he hasn't been seen or heard from since. I'm surprised this is the first time you're hearing of this.
Yeah, no, that's because I'd heard hints of that's what happened. But I was like, well, I've got no idea. I don't know the actual specifics of it. So I've talked shit about it. But in reality, this is the first time I've heard that that's definitely what happened. Because I found his second channel and I sent him an email and it took months for him to get back, and he just sounded completely depressed. I was like, I hope you do another editing project because you seem passionate about this and you're really good at it. And he was just like, Nah. Like, oh shit, this is depressing.
Wait, so he actually emailed you back?
Yeah. No, I emailed him, and then he got back to me on Discord. I emailed him my ad, and then he just like clarified what he was up to on over Discord.
Whoa.
So he's still around, but he's not. I don't think he plans to come back to any thing like in the community. Like, I guarantee, as a person, when you have a hobby like that, you know, where you're like editing stuff or making music, you don't just stop. You know, like, you'll still do something. It just probably won't be in this area, because you got to think he was in the kind of the e-punk bedroom punk market. So there's no point in him. He probably doesn't see a point in like trying to get back into that, you know,
right?
In like trying to get back to where he was in that. So I think he probably still does do editing stuff, but probably just not in this like genre.
Sorry, this is huge news, because literally nobody's been able to contact him at all, let alone get a Discord.
Well, you know, you get an email from DeepBlu. It's a pretty big deal, so you do reply.
Apparently, I guess so. Would you care to share that with me after the interview is over, so I could try and contact him? I really wanted to get an interview with him, if anything. Like, not even convince him to come back, just an interview would be huge.
So he had a Gmail address. I think it was in his second channel link.
Right.
That you should be able to go through that, because that's how I found it. Like, he's no more likely to get back to me than you.
Well, I've already contacted him through that, and he has not responded. But if you have a Discord account, we could reach him through. That might be big news.
Oh yeah, just spam the email, dude. That's what I did.
Well, no, I'm saying I've done that.
Right. Oh, shit.
But it didn't work. Do you have him on Discord still?
Let's see. I remember his icon. Oh yeah, there it is.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Right. So he got back to me over email. Then I sent him a Discord thing, and yeah, I've mixed that up. So he got back to me over email. That's when he clarified, and then on Discord, like, I've had a message sent to him since May 2023 that he hasn't got back to. So I think I'll send you the link, his art for that Discord, but I'm not sure if he's still using it. That's the trouble, because I think he was a very anonymous guy. Like, he's not like the guys where they're kind of like lax with it, where they're like, oh yeah, my real name, my address is here and there, but it doesn't matter. He was like a guy where it was like, oh, he's going to be more anonymous, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I totally understand. It's just, any way we could try and reach out to him just to get some closure on what happened, you know, because he disappeared very suddenly, but that would be great.
Yeah, so I can tell I'm a backup guest, because you're already like trying to procure new podcasts.
Oh, whatever. I'm always open to new guests for sure. You know, I got to keep my options open, right?
Yeah, no, that's such a shame though, because with Negative XP, it's like his songs, like the music video for his song, I can see that generating some income, but obviously not a huge amount to where it's like, oh, I need to have this or I'm losing loads of money. But it's the reason it's like a piece of shit thing to do is there are so many guys where, like, just the notoriety and the exposure of having that guy make a music video for you, it's like, it's such a cool thing to happen. It's so nice to see that something that you've made's been recognized.
Yeah.
So to be like, oh, I needed a little bit of extra money, fuck this guy, I'm gonna get his videos taken down, it's like, what a fucking stingy bastard, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, and it's a big point of contention with him too, you know, on the scene. It's why a lot of people hate him now.
Yeah, because it's like, I agree with him on the front of like, yeah, a lot of the people in the scene are like shit and not like good to associate with. But then on that, it's just like that's kind of irredeemable for the, you know, the music community, given that Up to the Wolves for a huge amount of time, like that was it. Like you'd start making awful music, and then if it suddenly got good, Up to the Wolves would probably make you a music video, and then you'd get a decent amount of listeners if you kept making good stuff. So that not being there is like, it's over.
Well, on the topic of Shooter, then, do you have were you around when he went and started E-Punk and that whole shift that came with the scene? You know, he sort of split off and started doing his own thing, and now he's left the scene entirely. Do you have any opinions on that or any recollection of events?
No. Yeah, by then I had kind of started to move to just do other things. Like I was off the kind of like out of touch with all the people in the community for ages. So that it was around that time anyway. because at that point I was like, right, it's not even as fun as it used to be when I was a kid in lockdown. Now it's just a bit weird. Everyone's getting into these like weird drama. Like, to put it into context, like Ziril, I used to think when I was like a 15-year-old kid, I was like, this Ziril guy is really cool. He's a really nice, cool guy. And, you know, knowing what we know now, it's like the fun of it is kind of left for me. Like, I still enjoy talking to a lot of the people like Watermark, but I'm not as in touch with like what's actually going on. Like, I don't have Twitter or anything, so what Negative XP's opinions on things are is your guess is as good as mine, you know.
Oh, sure. So could I get a little bit more context as to when you left? Was that after Virgin Fest or before?
Definitely after, a good bit after Virgin Fest, I think.
I know it was post Cowboy getting doxxed.
Because to be honest, when I joined, it was really fun because I was like in lockdown, you know, just abject fucking loser in terms of social life. And then, you know, I joined and we're playing like Jackbox in the chat. It was a good bit of fun, you know. Fried by Fluoride was there, Cross Socks, neat, a few other characters who were like frequently there.
Yeah.
But then once it got to a point where like, okay, half of these people have been doxxed, half of them have been kicked for child grooming, and the other half have got bored and left. So it's like, I'm probably just going to DM a few people and check myself out for the rest.
Sure. Well, actually, speaking of your time on the scene, I've heard that you had some tension actually with guys like Fried Neat, Crust, and Heart. And there was...
Just Heart, really.
Yeah, well, there was an incident a while back where you've been accused, I don't know if this is true, but you've been accused of mass reporting a well-known poster guy who was named Scotty. You mass reported his tweets, apparently, which got them flagged for self-harm and prompted the cops to show up at his house and do a wellness check on him. Is this true?
Yeah, no, that shit was insane. I feel really bad about that. So basically what happened is I was on Twitter at the time. It was a couple of years ago. And basically, I thought it would be funny. Like, that's not a defense. Like, that was just me being a shithead. I'd be like, because I'd report it and then his tweet would get deleted and then he'd DM me or he'd post in the server like, you little fucker, you've got my tweet deleted again, or you've got me like suspended for a few days. So at the time it was like, this is funny. You can't use Twitter for like 24 hours. It was not intended to be like, I hope a wellness check gets done on this guy. Like, I just want to clarify, my goal there was not for people to be concerned about his, like, my goal was not for the police to, because I had no idea that if you did that, Twitter would take actual action. I thought they would just continue to, like delete a few tweets or, like, suspend him for 24 hours. And at the time, being, like, just a shithead, I was thinking, like, this is funny. I'll just keep doing this. So there was a bit of confusion at the time because he'd given me like two pieces of information. On the one hand, I was like, oh my fucking God, this is horrible. What have I done? And then at the other hand, it was like, he told me like his teacher or something had seen one of his tweets on his phone, or a teacher at school had got in touch. Like, for some reason, a teacher or like someone responsible, you know, had found his Twitter and seen what he'd been posting. And because it was like all ironic, like, fuck my life, I want to kill myself stuff, they had like taken it seriously.
Oh.
So I'm like just in constant, so I was, for like a month, I was constantly like, holy shit, was this me? Like, and if it was, like, there's a good chance it was. I'm not saying, it was the teacher, it wasn't me, like, because I'm pretty sure now that, like, yeah, if someone keeps tweeting ironically that they want to kill themselves, and then you report it repeatedly, they will actually like do something about it.
Yeah.
But at the time, that was like not at all unknown to me. It was I don't know if you mentioned, but yeah, it was just Scotty. He posted he was like a frequent in the original server. So yeah, I'd love to get in touch with Scotty and see what he's up to now. Because with something like that, it's like you can't really apologize enough for that, you know. It's very hard to like.
Yeah.
It's really hard to do anything where it's like, oh yeah, that's now we're even now, you know. It's like, sorry for that.
Were there any Was there anything that happened like after that, like with you? Is that like maybe why you left Twitter or something?
No, I left.
Well, I know you
Twitter.
got banned after that, right?
I got banned for just
Yeah, that was you. Not on like Twitter, but you got banned in the server and kind of like kicked out of a lot of areas in the scene because of that. Because everyone was like,
really?
Yeah, no, it was a big thing.
Yeah.
Because I remember in ICG, like it was kind of like, oh, I really like this poster, but then they like accidentally pissed a mod off and now they're banned, you know, or something like that. Like that would basically be like the gist of like what would happen a lot. And it started with some people, and people get banned for like very silly reasons. I mean, I think I have a song on my SoundCloud called "Cowboy Banned Me."
Yeah, it's a banger.
And it's entirely about that. About like how like, you know, Cowboy banned me, and I'm like really pissed off, and like, fuck, dude, I can't talk to e-girls anymore. I'm like freaking out, dude. This sucks.
You just couldn't stop calling him fat.
Yeah, true. But it's like, yeah, exactly. But it was very easy to be like banned back in the day. Like it would kind of be like, like nowadays, I feel like as the scene's gotten a bit more desperate, I guess, as you could say, it's kind of gotten to be like, you know, as long as you don't dox anyone, or as long as you're not like an active groomer, you know, you don't really get banned.
As long as you're not currently in the act of grooming someone, it doesn't matter what you do.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But you know, it's kind of like, it's very it was a lot less lax back in the day. Everyone was very petty.
Yeah.
And you could see it in a lot of the drama, you know, like people would get in like Twitter spats over fucking nothing.
Yeah, don't take that to me. Don't take that to mean that it was a petty issue, because like that was like a petty issue is like, oh yeah, he called me gay, or he called Cowboy fat. Like the police doing a wellness check, that's a bit more like, okay, things have gone a bit far now. This is not what we intended. So yeah, he was one of those guys who changed his username a lot. So I'm always like, if I'm talking to some of the guys in the group, I'm like, oh shit, is that Scotty? Is he all right? It's like a worry in the back of my mind, you know.
Have you ever had a chance to like truly apologize?
I have talked to him a few times, but yeah, it would be nice to be able to talk to him a bit more, just see how he's doing. Yeah.
Well, I've got his so I will give it to you after this interview, and maybe you can mend a bridge there.
Yeah. I'll trade you up to the Wolves for Scotty.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Like Pokemon cards.
I mean, bit of a lopsided trade, but hey, I'm here for it.
Oh man.
No, Scotty, he did make good music. He made a really good cover of Ferrari by O Tortuga. If you've ever heard that song, it's got like some good guitar in it, and it's mixed surprisingly well, because that was like early in his like making music. So it's like, if you can make a good song early, it's impressive.
He covered an Anhero song as well, right?
Yeah. Anhero songs are like the most coverable shit ever, because it's like always 4 chords and then a pentatonic guitar solo. Good music, yeah.
Speaking of though your music, DeepBlu, to move back to your music, obviously you were part of Redpilled Rockstars, which is a band. I've also heard, or I've seen rather, in your SoundCloud comments, you responded to somebody a while ago called Fonkel McGee, saying like you were asking them to respond to some texts and that you're in a band with them. Who is this person?
He's in Copers.
Copers.
Yes, he is. He's the main man in Copers.
Oh, really? So were you part of Copers as well?
Yeah, some fucking researcher. You messaged me like, we're just doing our post-interview research, and you missed the fact that I'm like in fucking Copers.
All right.
And that's like the main musical thing that I've done in the last like 6 months.
Well, now we can talk about that, huh?
Yeah. I should have not mentioned that.
Should have not mentioned? Yeah, sure. But
be punished for that.
So you're part of the Copers band.
Yeah, I do. In the last few Copers songs, I've done the mixing. So the way it'll work is the main guy, Fonkel McGee, he sends me these demos that are like the demos that he sends me. They're a lot like the first few Copers songs, like very short, very snappy, like lots of guitar tracks. And then I like try to turn those into like a full song that's a bit longer. Like I'll add bass, I'll do the bass, and I'll add and I'll add vocals, and I'll mix it into like more of just a comprehensive song with a couple more verses and shit.
In my own defense, I'm just going to say really quick, there's no, like, on the Copers SoundCloud, there's no indication that, like, who the band members are.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it's not entirely my fault, all right?
No, fair enough.
Would you care to tell everybody who the band members are then?
So it's me, it's the Curve guy, it's the Fonkel McGee, and it is also Chippy or Recoper, who doesn't really, there's not much evidence of him. He's a very eccentric, strange guy. But
he was the missing fourth piece of the Redpilled Rockstars, though.
Yeah,
I did know that.
Yeah, he was in Redpilled Rockstars. He did I think he did which part of Redpilled Rockstars did he do?
I think he did Fuck E-Punk was like the thing.
Yeah,
that
he was
wrote.
in Fuck E-Punk, and he did he did the instrumental for Booster Shot Ball expansion. That's what he did.
That's right.
He constructed that
Nice.
masterpiece.
Great. Well, I'm wondering then, you're talking about Copers as if it just happened. It was a year ago.
Yeah.
But then again, on SoundCloud, it says in their description, new album coming soon. Is there something coming out, or is that an old post?
It's on Spotify. It's been on Spotify for months.
Has it been?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just was put on Spotify actually. It's basically like a whole like kind of like an anthology thing. Like it's like all the songs that weren't put on are like on now.
Yeah. It's your extras.
But I was told in private that Coper's band is it's not happening anymore.
Really?
The project is officially concluded, according to Chippy at the very least.
That's dude, who told Chippy that Copers is fine? It's just really hard to get a hold of Fonkel McGee.
Oh.
That dude is like, well, he has he commits the worst crime that you can as an internet musician, and he has a life outside of it. So, he doesn't get to make as much music now. He doesn't get to play guitar as much, but he is probably the best guitarist in the entire, I'm pretty comfortable in saying he's the best guitarist in the entire genre. Like, he listens to a lot of the Strokes. He plays a lot of, like, fast solos, very clean playing. Like, when I make music, I quantize it because I'm shit at guitar. He doesn't have to. He's actually good at playing guitar.
Wow. So, as part of the band, then you're saying it's not concluded and there's going to be more stuff in the future.
If he, girlfriend leaves him, job fires him, kicks out of school. We can only cross our fingers. Hopefully, he comes back to E-Punk.
Yeah. Hopefully, his life crashes.
Yeah. Hopefully, he has a major crash out, and that pesky little life gets out of the way. All the shit we don't want to see.
We'll all hope with you there on that. Well, then, good to get that answered. But I've also heard from other people that at some point in the past, you were part of a band in real life with some girl.
No, that's with who?
Just some girl. I don't know her name. All I've heard is that you were in a real life band with a girl.
No, so there was no girl. But I was for 2 sessions. I was actually in a punk band. So have you ever heard of Bandmix?
No.
So Bandmix is a website where if you play music, but you don't have any friends, you can go on Bandmix and it's like social media but for people who want to start a band and play music. So I got to a point where I was like, I like playing music. Maybe I'll try and go outside as well. Worst mistake of my life. So what happened was they like bring me into a WhatsApp group and I go to a recording session with them. So they tell me to learn a few songs. I like frantically learned them because I'd never heard any of them before. They were all like gay little punk song, not like good punk music. It's like I'm 14 and I don't have a girlfriend yet. It's like that kind of punk music. I
Incelcore.
cannot stand it, but I was like, I need to get out the house. So I went and did it. So I went to a recording session. I played with them once, and then I went to another one. And this time we were all drinking, so we were in town. We all had a few beers. I had a big bottle of gin as well that I was just drinking straight from because I don't like the taste of beer, but I can stomach like straight spirits pretty efficiently. So we played a bit of music. I was doing lead guitar. I was like, that was the point in my life when I was the best at playing guitar, and it's just declined since then because I actually had to practice, or else I would like weigh down the group. So we did another one. We were all drinking in town, and I get a bit too loose. The singer, he's not very good. He wasn't a very good singer, to say the least. So at one point, he's just finished a song, and I'm just like, mate, could you just sing like on pitch? could you just sing but like the right notes? And so like that, no one says anything to me. Like there's no confrontation. And then the next day I wake up, I check the group chat, and I was kicked out. So that was the end of my band. And then I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe just music where I'm the only one in the band is all right. Maybe that'll be fine. That's all I need.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. It's kind of an anticlimactic end.
You say it sucks, but to be honest, the drummer was like one of those, like, he was like a weird green-haired guy that had like, you would say he has like ADHD and anxiety. Actually, no, he was the bassist. The drummer was a cool guy, but the bassist, for one, he was shit. That's probably why he played bass, and like, not good bass, not like, you know, cool bass that you can kind of hear. He played the kind of bass where you just play the same chord you play the same note of the chord that the rhythm guitarist is playing.
Yeah.
So you kind of know it's there, but not really when it's live, because usually when it's live, everything's turned up too loud and the bass isn't. So he was shit. They had him in there because he was like their friend. He was like, he wants to be in the band. Give him a bass guitar. He only has to play one note at a time, and still he would like fuck that up. Like I'd see him like, even though it was so loud and pretty much all you could hear was the drum and the amp, I could still see his fingers like clumsily, like he couldn't tell what note he was playing because it was too loud, and that worked just fine for him because he was playing the wrong ones.
Okay.
I could just see on his fretboard he'd start playing something and then be like, oh shit, and then move it to a different fret. He was so fucking shit. You could tell he's just like the lead singer's friend.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I guess good experience if nothing else then.
Yeah, it taught me not to be in a band.
Sounds a lot like the average Incelcore live experience. Perfectly.
Yeah. So after the recording session, Ziril came in and he broke everyone's equipment. So I thought it couldn't get any worse, but then it did.
I want to say there's you bring up a lot of references to drinking on your discography, and then also hear you talking about drinking and stuff in real life.
Yes, I do.
Is that like just a good song topic, or do you maybe struggle with alcoholism like other people in the scene?
I love drinking, so that's all there is to it. I really like drinking.
Okay.
Because I had like a weed phase, but then I was like, this isn't nearly as good as drinking. Like, yeah, drinking, it has the bit afterwards where it has hangovers, but you just can't really match it, you know? Like, weed, it's like, yeah, you're just being a pussy. You just don't want to get a hangover. And it's not even as good. It makes you anxious. It dries my mouth out a fuck ton. Like, I've got to a point with edibles where when I get into a phase of trying edibles, what I'll do is I'll have a few. My tolerance will have been, it'll go really low because I haven't had any for ages. I'll have an edible. I'll be like, this is awesome. I'll have another one. I'll be like, not quite as good. I think my tolerance has gone up. So then I'll have just way fucking too much. And then I always end up in the exact same spot. The way I always end up with edibles is I have too much. I'm in like a Slav squat position on the floor, and I'm googling, can you overdose on weed? I've googled this like 4 separate times because I've got way too high and then forgot that the answer is usually no. So then I just have to sleep it off. So nice. I learn, I have bad hangovers occasionally, but I always remember that and think, nothing's as good as drinking.
Okay, sweet. Interesting.
Yeah, and not like I'm not like an alcoholic guy. I just like very frequently would have like small amounts, like a bottle of tequila, and I'll have like a drink at the end of the night where I'll just add a decent, like a double of tequila, and that puts me over nicely. That puts me to sleep.
Okay, well, good to hear. I also have one more thing you keep bringing up is Ziril. Do you have a bone to pick with him?
No, he's just a funny topic. He's such a
okay.
funny guy to talk about because there's so many like points of comedy about him. You know when someone's just like a big target board. He's
sure.
like
it's just he's more of a live scene guy nowadays.
Yeah.
You mentioned that he was one of the first people that you like really knew about when you got into the scene, right?
Well, that's just because he was the only one that was willing to like speak to me because I was like didn't have any music out yet.
Gotcha.
Okay. It was just like I was like, oh, this is cool. This guy's being nice to me. I'll talk to this guy. So we made like I remember I made one song with him when I first joined, and I was just testing out my new equipment. Like I was actually just testing out the musical equipment. So I made a song with Ziril, but God knows if it's still up. But like at first he was just like a normal guy, and then randomly it's just like, oh yeah, Ziril had been like e-dating and met up with in real life this girl who was like 13 or 14.
Oh, wow.
And it was like, oh, okay, this rather unsavory figure, I guess.
I think the story with this, if I'm not mistaken, is it's actually I don't think it's inherently grooming. There's no smoking gun there, but it is actually a bit more, almost just as if not more embarrassing in that. Actually.
Well, no, come on, like they met up in real life. It's just like
he had been talking to this, like, I think she was 16 at the time.
Nah, she wasn't, mate. She was very young.
She was either 16, 15. I don't remember 14, exactly. But he had the story goes, is from what I've heard, is he drives a ridiculous amount of time to hang out with her, meets her with like a group of her friends, hangs out with this group of friends for like maybe like 4 hours, and then goes home.
Wow.
And nothing.
Well, no, I saw a picture of. I could have sworn I saw a picture of them where, like, he's like got his arm around her, like on a sofa or for on a couch for the Americans. I saw a picture like that, and it was like, oh no. I was just like, that was the moment where I was
I'm
like,
not sure
shit.
if I've ever seen anything like that, but I would be interested to see it. To be honest.
Yeah. But and then from there,
if you could dig that up.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, he doesn't get stick for that anymore. He gets stick for like the moment where he destroyed a bunch of people's amplifiers to be like as a funny stunt at a live event.
When did that happen?
Watermark, do you know when that happened?
No, I'm not sure if I was around when that happened.
It was one of the live
I know the
events.
main thing that, like, I know Ziril's like 15 minutes of fame was like when he punched Bryn in the face and like broke her tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he also met up with this like e-girl from the server and punched her in the face.
Well, that was at Doomerfest.
Was it? I thought it was in just someone's house.
No, Bryn got punched in the face at Doomerfest.
Oh wait, Bryn also punched Bryn at a house, yes, but that was as a joke. The one at Doomerfest actually happened.
No, there was a connection. There was a connection there.
Yeah, but it was more like rehearsed. It was like they both knew she was going to get punched. That was also Bryn. So he's only punched Bryn.
No, I don't mean that he like randomly punched. I know they rehearsed it, but like he still did give her that. There are some significant strikes on the record. The judges have got some.
In my humble opinion, not to be like LeBase incel here, but like I think Bryn like totally deserved it. I really do. Think he was probably like one of, if not like the most malicious and evil person in the scene.
Well, how is Bryn evil? I thought she's just a bit annoying.
She's a woman.
Well, she's rather incompetent. She's also like, she's dating like one of the America First guys now, right?
Oh, that doesn't surprise me remotely.
No, it doesn't. It shouldn't. It really shouldn't.
She was like one of those characters where it's like, I'm a girl and I like America First. I like right-wing stuff, and that's me. That's my whole thing.
I mean, she's got a song that's literally called "Pick Me," so
it's like
tells you all you need to know.
You want to be self-aware, but at the same time, you're still doing it. So it's not like you're not really above other girls who do it.
Totally, but we don't need to dwell on her too much. Back to you, DeepBlu. I have one more big question I want to ask you.
Go ahead.
Crust Socks obviously has started a new European server for guys on the scene.
Yeah, why are you in there?
Because I'm the host and I promoted it, so that's why I'm in there. I deserve to be in there, right? I'm responsible for like at least half of those people being in there, if not more.
Yeah.
So you're welcome.
You're an honorary European for that. Yeah, well done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So obviously you're in there also. And I was wondering, do you have any plans to participate in this show that Crust Socks has been talking about doing next year in England?
Look, here's the thing. So I can't play guitar and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
And if you ask me to play one of my songs, I probably couldn't. A, because I've forgotten how to. Because once I finish playing them, that's it. I'm not revisiting them. I delete the Logic profile and it's over.
Mm.
And two, to get to even just Cross Socks is a 2-hour drive away. And it's what am I getting out of this? To go on stage and hey guys, here's Kill to Death. Oh shit. Do any of you guys know how to play Kill to Death? And it's what am I doing it all for? So I probably won't be making a live appearance anytime soon.
You really are a European talking about a 2-hour drive if it's some pilgrimage.
Yeah,
that's nothing.
I have an hour long drive to college every morning. I don't know why this 2-hour drive is such a crazy thing to you.
Yeah.
The Europeans, you can just sit up, and you can just take the train. What the fuck?
Oh,
no joke.
Have you ever been on a train? It's shit.
Yeah, I've been on a train and it's shit, but it's
yeah.
It's a lot more convenient than driving. You just get to sit down for 2 hours. You get to you do that. I know you have definitely sat down for 2 hours before.
No,
never. You really have no desire to be in a live show with Crust Socks and all them. It seems like it'd be a big thing. It'd be the first European live event ever.
Don't get me wrong. I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to go and I'd love to meet Crust Socks and everything. I think that would be cool. Not many. I pretty much just hang out with 1 or 2 people, so it would definitely be cool to go down, make a few friends, but at the same time, 2-hour drive or train ride with my fucking shit-looking guitar. So, no thanks. If they come to my city, I will happily show up, but they won't because there's nothing there. So, there's no one there.
Okay. Well, it's too bad, but it's probably going to be a big event when it goes on. Just saying. Maybe you'll change your mind, huh?
Heartbreaker will be the first to say this because he's a little shit. But when I rejoined, he was I think when it was oh yeah, we're gonna have DeepBlu on the podcast, he was the streets weren't whispering DeepBlu. It's people aren't gonna be at the European live event yeah, it's cool and all, but where's DeepBlu? People are gonna be oh. What? DeepBlu's not here. This is fucking bullshit. Fuck this. I'm going home. No one cares.
Well, I mean, you did recently just hit 1,000 followers on SoundCloud.
Yeah,
which is,
if I'd kept posting, I would have hit that 2 years ago. But I don't post very consistently, so it's it's been a very slow road,
Well, actually, that's something I sort of glossed over. Are you coming back because you have released 2 tracks semi-recently?
It's more I never left. I'm just not very productive because I do quite a bit of other. This is my 3rd favorite hobby.
Oh, is that right?
This is my 3rd favorite hobby. Yeah.
Huh. Well, what else do you like to do?
I like combat sports because I used to be fat and it's always constantly clawing at the back of my mind if I don't do anything physical. That you're gonna get fat again. It's happening. The second one I like to do is just travel, driving around, flying to new places.
So a 2-hour drive isn't
by travel I mean go and eat nice food, not go and oh shit, I hope I've remembered how to play this. That's stress I don't need.
Well, you don't need to play, you could just go and show up. You ever consider that, just going to the live show and not playing, just showing up?
No, I would go and I would just hear the BBC documentary music of a group of far-right radicals have gathered in Leeds to play to rally for white supremacy. I'd hear the BBC music, I'd be oh fuck.
Yeah, and you have to go to Keir Starmer's FEMA camp.
Yeah, I would literally go and I'd have to apologize to the Prime Minister because they would see they would see that like, oh, these guys are following negative XP, and they would immediately pull up with the ITV, the BBC people would pull up. We'd have to name it like friendly left-wing musicians for refugees' rights in order to not get beaten to death by the police.
Yeah, true.
That's the main risk, because people thought like in America, like, oh, the Virgin Fest's horrible because you can't do anything in America anymore. It's like 1984. Try that in fucking England. You will be fucked. You will play one note and the tear gas will roll in. It's like,
wow.
I think they would have to be very like, they'd either have to keep it kind of on the down low and keep it just to people that they know are cool, or they'd have to just be very like family friendly with it and be like, we're all just musicians, guys. It's just punk music. Because if there was any association,
it's E-punk.
Yeah, because it would literally only take one person to snitch. Like that's how like it's just that the UK is at a particularly bad time in terms of like getting fucked up for saying stuff. Like the Twitter police meme is like very real right now. Like people are getting fucked over for posting things. It's like I'd love to, but if it would have to be quite small, because I don't want to like I work like freelance jobs. I work very unsupervised, but even still, because there's like some large companies involved, I still don't like to push my luck that much, But yeah, I'd love to go as an attendee.
Well, I guess we'd have to see how things are in a year.
Yeah, I'd love to go as just an attendee if it was just like, a small punk concert at like a bar, at like a pub or something. I'd 100% do that, but I literally can't play guitar and sing. Like if I practice loads, I can do it, but it's very hard. It's very hard. There's a reason I record everything in very small steps.
Yeah.
Do you I will extend another offer to you, actually, from me to you, and I think there's a higher likelihood of you perhaps doing this.
Yeah.
I will be in Europe this December.
Oh,
no way. Where?
I'm going to be staying in the Netherlands around Christmas time.
Oh shit! I might be able to go to the Netherlands. I've been around last Christmas. I went to Amsterdam,
listen, if you'd like to, I mean, you mentioned you love drinking. I'm not a big drinker, but if my friend DeepBlu is game, I'd love to have a pint, as the Engletards say.
Yeah.
So and I did hear Crust Socks was also perhaps game to we could have a nice European meetup.
Absolutely, yeah. So I went to Amsterdam last year as well, and I actually met up with a guy from the kind of from the
thing. Oh, is it Perry?
Yeah, so I met up with this guy called Perry. Basically, he tells me to meet him at the main Apple store in Amsterdam, in Central. So basically, I go there, and all I can see are like tourists, a homeless guy on the floor sat down, just the people working at the store. I'm still there for ages. I DM him, I get nothing back, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then I'm standing there, and then the homeless guy looks up, and he's like, oh, the Saxonman. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So basically, what had happened was it was his birthday, and obviously he'd chosen to go meet DeepBlu. Fucking hell. So what he'd done is he'd gone to his favorite smoke shop in Amsterdam, and they'd given him some special shit for his birthday, and it had just completely like fucked him up. So he'd been he'd been given some absolute like demon nightmare shit. So he was literally just sat there like on the verge of throwing up outside the Apple store. And I'm like, oh, what's up, man? It's so cool to meet a guy from the server. And as we're talking, like a random Dutch woman walks past and like drops off a bag of food for him because she thinks he's homeless.
Nice.
And to this day, I still like Perry is a nice guy, but of all the fucking losers, it's like, come on, man, it's your birthday and you're out like completely fucked up off your head trying to meet people from Discord. Come on. That was the one person. That's my one experience with meeting people from this scene. That's the first time DeepBlu's ever made an in-person appearance.
Well, I'll say I have met a lot of people from the scene in real life, and I'm probably going to meet more, especially this November.
I'll pray for you.
I've probably had maybe about 10 times the amount of horror stories that you've had.
Oh, no way.
So I've had about 10 horror stories. I have had a lot of experience meeting people from the live scene. And listen, there's a lot of bad that comes with the good, and you know, it's never stopped me, is all I have to say.
Oh, fuck yeah. You know, I was just telling you, Copa, you were being like, oh, Copas is dead. The fucking Copas guy that does the guitar, he's literally just DM'd me. We're back. We're fucking back. Yes, let's go.
Let's go.
He sent me so Copas will be back soon if he's probably been fired from his job or kicked out of university, so Copas is back. But can we have like just some of the highlights of meeting people from the scene? Like, what's happened?
Well, let me think, because I know there's been a lot that's happened that has been very like actually fucked up, as you would say.
Yeah.
The first Steak Fry Memorial show, there was a very belligerent drunk woman who was like 4'11" who we had to kick out.
Nice.
So that was cool. You know, obviously a lot of experiences with Ziril. I mean, I've met that guy a ton of times because he's just everywhere. At the Cleveland Mall in Ohio, I hung out with him, and he showed me his exact move that he would pull if he were ever in an altercation with someone.
What is it? Calling the rest of the fucking seven dwarfs?
No. He conjures their power. He told me he jumps on them. And then he proceeded to try to jump on me.
Didn't he succeed though? Didn't he actually jump on you?
Yes, he did, and he balanced himself like perfectly. Like I was like standing up, and he like balanced himself like. It was a really weird. It was a very odd thing, and he's like,
what, on your shoulders?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was so weird. Like it was so odd. He really is like an acrobatic chimpanzee. And I told him, I was like, Ziril, please don't do that ever again. After he was done, because that was just like it was kind of ridiculous, to be honest. But I digress. You know. The live scene, it's a beautiful and a terrible place at the same time, you know.
Yeah, if you want to know what it's like, DeepBlu, you got to show up to some, huh? Maybe you should show up to the one in England.
I'll see if I can get to Amsterdam and see Watermark. But I'm not trying to travel to the States. I think that's where most of the weirdness comes in.
Fair enough.
I heard Ziril and Zarbomb are actually, when they need to get into bars so they don't get ID'd, they wear a big trench coat and stand underneath the shoulders.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah, no, they told me about that.
I do like Zarbomb's music though. Actually, Zarbomb is one of the actual good guitarists.
Zarbomb was very cool. I do like him. He's very very nice. I've met him multiple times. I've stayed in his car. Actually, you know, after the Virginia show, we were in the car and we were like, oh my god, that was such a great show. And Zarbomb like leaned in, like he was like trying to kiss me, and I like pulled away, and I was like. And I turned to Basarion, and I was like, "What the fuck just happened? Is this real? Did this really just happen?" And Basarion was like, "Oh, I guess I should tell you. You know, Zarbomb has had a crush on you for years, and I just felt so uncomfortable. I immediately went home. I just drove.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you poor thing. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was such an uncomfortable experience, and I really just I don't know.
Jealousy doesn't even begin to describe how that makes me feel.
Before we wrap up entirely, I was just wondering, Watermark, do you have anything else that we haven't covered that you'd like to ask DeepBlu?
Not exactly. I think we've covered most of it. I think we're just about all good. I can't really think of too much. We touched on just about everything that's wildly important. If we missed something, it probably wasn't that important.
Yeah. DeepBlu, do you have anything you want to ask us or anything you want to bring up before we conclude?
No, I mean, Watermark's right. If there's really not much important stuff you could ask DeepBlu.
Yeah. You've kept kind of a low profile your whole time on the scene, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely more into it when I was younger, because then it was like it was all there was to do, because 2020 and 2021, that was like the main lockdown time in this country. So for me, it was like, what else is there to do? I'll make music. I'll be a fucking Discord junkie. Yeah.
Then I guess, I know that you said that you're not super active anymore, but if you want to go ahead and announce where people can find you on your socials, and also if you have any upcoming projects that you'd like to tell anybody about, go ahead and do that now.
Yeah, I mean, go listen to Copas on Spotify, listen to DeepBlu on Spotify. Don't bother with SoundCloud. The payout ratio is shit. That's pretty much everything.
Okay. You don't have any new projects or songs that you're working on?
No. I mean, if I had to tell everyone, I'd say, don't go listen to Heartbreaker. Please, I hope his plays go down. I hope to God that, he wakes up tomorrow and sees that there's been 0 listens.
All right.
I'm just kidding, but yeah, just mainly Spotify. I'll try and see if I can get some new Copas stuff out soon.
Sweet. And we'll also look forward to Redpilled Rockstars too. Am I right?
No promises. Let's not.
We'll see. Listen, I'll see what I can do. Yeah. See, we took the words out of each other's mouths. I'll see what I can do.
I'll check the calendar.
All right. Well, sweet. Well, then I guess that's going to conclude our interview. Thank you very much, DeepBlu, for coming on. We much appreciate it. You're a great guy to talk to. Very easy to talk to. I like the accent too. At first I thought it was a little bit cartoonish, but it's grown on me. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. One more question though. Who was the original intended guest before I came through and saved the day?
Oh, come on, really? No, there wasn't any intended guest.
You just wanted to sound
cool. There were a few intended hosts before I had to come through though.
Okay, maybe this interview was a little bit rushed.
I don't do any media without Watermark on there.
Very true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, no, it's I thought Watermark would be the best co-host. Like at first, yeah, I was running through a couple of co-hosts, and then I thought Watermark would be the best since you guys have a history with each other. Thought it would work out, and I think it has. So it all worked out in the end.
Yeah.
Well, thanks again, man. DeepBlu again for coming on. You're a great guy to talk to, and I think everybody will be pleased to see this. So thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, everyone except Heartbreaker.
Okay. Sweet. Well, goodbye, man. Good talking with
you. Thank you. Yeah, see you.
Well, that was a great interview, I think. I think that went surprisingly well.
That guy's such a dude.
We're all thinking it, No, he was great. I'm not even gonna lie. He's like I said in the interview, he's definitely kept a low profile. So there were some things that I was like, gee, I don't know if I'll have a lot to talk with him about, but we had to get him on. He's been around for forever. He had some interesting insight into some early parts of the scene, and then some parts that really not a lot of people know about. I don't think most people know that Copers is actually a band. I certainly didn't know who the actual band members were. I thought it was just 4 random guys who got together. I didn't realize he was part of it.
Yeah, he does vocals on a lot of the newer stuff. I remember when he started doing that, I was like, wait, what the fuck? I recognize that's his voice, and then I find out like he's totally involved in it.
Okay, so it wasn't just me who didn't know.
Yeah, no, like a lot of people don't really know. I mean, Copers itself is kind of like an enigmatic like thing.
Yeah,
I feel like it's like the closest thing Incelcore ever got to like an actual band.
True. Yeah, this is true. It doesn't help though that the main guy Coper, like it's in his fucking name, Coper.
Yeah.
Kind of confuses
Well, I mean,
things.
yeah, most people just call him Coper, and he's kind of like the guy who, at the very least, from what I remember, like he was like the guy who kind of organized everything and got everything together and kind of like drew all the art and like kind of like he was like the guy behind getting everything done, And there were people who did music and did whatever. I believe he did like he kind of organized like a lot of stuff and he kind of helped a lot with that. Like he was basically like the manager, I guess.
Got it. And is he Asian? Because in the one song, like their first song that they made, like he says that I think it's insane. And he says
I'm trying to remember. I don't think he's Asian. I believe Rick Hopper is Spanish.
Oh.
In the sense that he's like continental, peninsular Spanish, but like,
got it. Because I know in that first song, E-CEL.
Yeah, I know somebody. Well, someone else used to do the lyrics. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember exactly who it was. I think it was somebody. I'm not entirely sure, but it was that was the Asian guy.
Gotcha.
Oh, excuse me. The Asian guy. There was an Asian guy who did vocals. Who used to do vocals before DeepBlu did them, and he said like that I am Asian.
Okay.
Line.
Gotcha. Interesting. Well, cool. Yeah, I hope DeepBlu. I know he says that he's not, super involved with it anymore, but I've always liked his music. Like it's always been good. I think he gives himself a hard time on the quality of it, but I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree.
And hopefully you can convince him to do Redpilled Rockstars 2 again. I really am looking forward to that. Truly, I think it'll be cool.
I mean, yeah, and I hopefully, there's more projects in the scene where it's just people like kind of like fucking around and making something stupid.
Yeah. Now all we have to have next is a Recoper on, and then we'll have had all of you. So it'll be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, I could maybe get in touch with him for you and see about perhaps hosting a thing. I will warn you though, like Copers is about the only thing he's done, so it's kind of like there wouldn't be too much to talk about. It would kind of be a little bit of a dull episode.
I mean, definitely put me in contact with him, but we've got some other ideas.
Yeah, I could totally do it. And you could maybe have him co-host something or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, for the next interview, we've definitely got some stuff lined up, so it's no big deal. But
that's good.
If we could have him on, might be cool. But anyways, Watermark, if you want to go ahead and promote yourself real quick, tell everybody where they can find you and any upcoming projects you got going on, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Sure. All right. Lil Watermark on all socials. Instagram, Lil Watermark 20 is my handle. Twitter handle is just Lil Watermark, no spaces, no caps or anything like that. Spotify, SoundCloud, Lil Watermark. I'm pretty good at keeping my names consistent. Listen to Just a Guy. New single came out like 2 weeks ago. Really good. It's really awesome. People love it. Twitter e-girls love it. I think you'll love it too. Everyone's gonna love it. It's great. Great song and everything.
It is great.
And also upcoming in the sense of upcoming projects, perhaps later this month, maybe actually a week out from when this episode actually hits the airwaves, there may be a split coming out between some artists in the scene, and I may be on it.
What do you mean a split? What is that, like a comp album?
I mean like a split EP. Yeah, kind of a comp, but it's a thing that like actual bands do where they have an EP and everyone submits, and like they have like 4 or 5 people and they each submit 3 songs, 2 songs or whatever. So it's a little less of like a totally Incelcore thing. It might be a little more serious, I have to put my serious hat on, but a little bit more some serious side of my music.
Cool.
A couple less Soy Jack Party aimed songs and a couple less Lol Cow aimed songs, but there's some bangers on there, and some people have heard the demos and they really like them. So hopefully you guys like that. Some old names coming back that haven't really made music in a while. I don't want to share too much because I'm not sure how much they would want that, but I can say that it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a great split, and I think everyone should listen to it.
Sweet, yeah, definitely looking forward to that then, and you'll be promoting that on all your stuff, right?
Yes, I will, and also. Come to Steakfest, November 23rd, 2024, downstate New York. Maybe closer to the city. The venue may be getting moved. All right, I don't know. I'll keep everyone updated. Stay on my socials. Look at everything. New posters gonna come out. We're gonna come out with like a new poster every month, every maybe few weeks before the event. Got to keep things fresh. Got to keep things updated. And any updates, I will announce them. I'll try to announce them and get them out to the masses. And come out. It's going to be the greatest Incelcore live event this year. Probably this year, yeah. I think it's going to be bigger than Scum. It's going to be bigger than any show that's happened so far this year. It's going to be huge. A lot of things happening. A lot of people who have not played a live show together. I mean, Werewolf Hair. I mean, no one's ever got that guy to play a show before, all right? Heartbreaker, no one's ever gotten that guy to play a show before. Maybe this will age horribly because everyone's going to drop out, but like, I'm just saying, as of right now, things are looking really good, and you should come out, and you should give it a chance, and O-Figs is coming out, and everyone's going to be there, and you can meet O-Figs, and he's going to be there, and he's going to be wearing a full gorilla suit because he's afraid of everyone looking at his face and seeing how ugly he is. You could rip that off, and you can call O-Figs the most ugly chud in the world. I mean, seriously,
True, yeah, can't wait. But I will be there. That's unironic. I will be there, so it'll be great. It'll be a very unfriendo fest. It's going to be awesome. Everybody's looking forward to it. And then obviously everybody can follow me on SoundCloud and on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, and then I'm also on Twitter at Incelcore fan. Follow me there, please. If you follow me on anything, follow me on Twitter, please. That's the one I enjoy the most. And follow the show here. Check out the Rumble page. Check us out on Twitter. And yeah, I guess that's it.